So what's the difference between the South and the North?
Religion.
Religion?
Yeah, that's the biggest part.
Yeah, I think big thing is that the South is more Afro, Black, Christian, whatever the traditional religions are, and then you see the North, where you have Morocco, Algeria, North Sudan. It's more of a Mediterranean Muslim nation, right? So the distinction is the religion is
the religion.
A big fact.
Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza. Tuko Nairobi tuna Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza. Chafuwa Meza, I see you, Lemmy G, Don Kings in the building. Chafuwa Meza, tuna Chafuwa Meza, tuna Chafuwa Meza.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chafuwa Meza Show. As you can see, I have a whole building full of guests. Women and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get this shit up in the right way. As usual, before we start the show, we do 3 shots back to back. But I know everybody's scared tonight. Who's not scared? Who's not pussy tonight? We can do 3 shots back to back. Who ready?
That's right, man.
I got one right here.
Who's ready?
Myself, man.
Can you do 3 back to back? I don't think so.
At least.
I do one.
You take one.
I do one. We'll do one. Two.
How many can you do? 2.5?
We'll do one.
A shot of water. I'll do one.
Nah, not water. That's not a
Water,
shot,
right?
man. Nah.
Like-
This is the Chafuwa Meza. We fuck up the table. You see this table right here? We got a full bottle right here. Look at this shit right here. It's full.
Yeah. There's more in the fridge.
Yeah.
Wait, where does this come from? I never seen this before.
Yeah, from liquor store.
It should come from Arthur. They imported. Are you dumb? It's okay. Come on.
But yeah, let's get it popping, man. Cause I'm saying like, pour the drinks. Let's go.
We're gonna take a shot or?
Yeah, you're gonna do a shot. I mean, I see you already got your shot ready,
got a
man.
shot right here?
Yeah, you got your shot ready, man.
I'm gonna take a shot, man.
Yeah, let's get it popping.
All right.
You don't drink like that?
That's good right there.
You don't drink like that? Usually.
We're doing 3, right? So
The best Marisa, yeah. I'm not going
I can't disclose that.
Oh, that reach. Put for everybody, nigga. I'm missing my shit. Hold on, man. You put the bottle back.
Wallahi. Here you go. Feel me? Pour your own swords.
Yes, sir.
Pour your own swords.
I'm only pouring water in this cup.
No, literally.
only water, right?
It has to be like
Yeah, only water. She's only drinking water. Nobody can say this shit. It's just water.
It's water.
Water o'clock.
Yeah.
That's water.
No, literally, because
Alright, let's do it.
Alright, we.
bro, that's
you
how
got-
you get food.
You start with 3.
Yeah, to everybody, man. Shout out to Sudanese in the building, man. Tonight. Yeah. Let's get it popping. Yeah.
I need a guiding bladder. We outside.
That's tough.
First things first, man. I want to thank everybody for coming through. I appreciate you guys, man. I know this means a lot to me, man. But before we start the show, man, to my left, man, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Pior. I'm from New Hampshire. I was born in Sudan, and
Okay.
I was only there for 2 years though, right? Like then to Egypt and then New Hampshire. So I'm in North Carolina for my nephew's birthday,
Yes, sir.
and I just got kind of into this. So
You're welcome, sir.
Welcome to the city.
Hey, okay.
That's what's up.
yeah,
Welcome to the city, sir. Yes, sir.
It's my turn?
yeah.
Okay, my name is Melling. I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm from South Sudan, but I was born here and raised, so yeah, that's it.
Do you speak a language?
Yeah, I speak the language.
The whole thing? Word, okay. Word.
My name is Rich, you know what I'm saying? I was born in goddamn Khartoum, you know what I'm saying? But I'm
Okay.
still South Sudanese in my bone. You know what I'm saying? The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You feel me?
Amen.
Pseudo gang.
You already know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is Portugal.
What the hell?
It's better than this foot. I was born in Khartoum, but Juba's home,
Period.
South Sudanese, and I was raised in North Carolina.
Okay.
Abdullah, go ahead, nigga.
Yeah. My name is goddamn Sammy, man. But hey, Sammy Smooth. You already know the vibe, man. You know what I mean? Born in South Sudan. Well, North Sudan, but originally South Sudan, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
raised in New Hampshire, and I'm over here in North Carolina, just kicking with my peoples.
Okay, welcome to the building. We here.
I just want to break out into prayer. Salam.
No, you don't have to lean over. Just be comfortable. We can hear you.
All right. My name is Pita. Not like pita bread. Not like PTA in Swahili. This Pita. I was born in America, unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time. I'm from North Carolina, and yeah, those are my sisters. So stay blessed.
You from Cary, right?
I can't disclose that.
You can discuss that. All right, cool. No big deal, man. So what's up? Welcome everybody to the show, man. We're here now, man. I know all your Sudanese, so I have one good question before we start the show. I mean, as we start the show. So what's the difference between the South and the North?
Religion.
Religion?
Yeah, that's the biggest part.
Yeah, I think big thing is that the South is more Afro, Black, Christian, you know, whatever the traditional religions are, and then you see the North, where you have Morocco, Algeria, North Sudan. It's more of a Mediterranean Muslim nation, right? So the distinction is the religion is
the religion.
A big factor.
Yeah, big factor.
I don't know if anybody wants to add.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually add on to that.
Go ahead.
So I think like the big reason why like South Sudan and Sudan has separated was like, you know, the ethno-religious tensions. So like you have like the Afro-Arab people in Sudan, and then the Nilotic, is that the correct word?
Nilotic.
Yeah, Nilotic Sudanese people that are in the South. So, you know, you have a lot of more Afro-Arab influences in Sudan than you do in South Sudan. And that comes to the whole reason why we speak Arabic, that form of colonialism that's coming from, you know, the Afro-Arab influences. So a lot of like the majority of South Sudanese people are Christian, and then, you know, like you said as well, the Sudanese people are, you know, are Muslim.
Right?
So, yeah, just more ethno-religious tensions.
I think it's also a social economic side of thing.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's in a sense like if you're more so further closer to a like a Arab kind of, you know, descent, it's more of like you have more of like more privilege, more leverage throughout like Sudan. If you have more of a Nilotic, you know, descent, it's more so like you're kind of seen as beneath, if that makes sense. So that you see more of like Southerners, where we call ourselves Junubians, they have less of a social economic status compared to Arabs who are in the North.
I like that.
So can I ask where, like, you know, if I may, where that stems from, though, that socio-economic, right? Like, is that a historical thing where like just Arabs have been more economically, you know, dominant? Or is it like is it more religious? Is it more like what is
I think
the
it's both.
factor?
Because if you look at other countries as well too, it's the same thing. Different countries. Look at like, let's say Syria, number one, like, you know, Middle East, Morocco. It's like if your family to have like the power, like the money, the resources, like you're beneath everybody else, you know. So that's how I see it as that way.
I think it even also plays in terms of like colorism, if you think about it.
Yeah.
In a sense, like if you're the darker you are, it's like, oh, you're not seen as more, you know, seem to have a much power compared to someone who's more of a lighter complexion. So I feel like even in South Sudan, you could see we shade from like different shades of like complexion. Like you gotta look at somebody and be like, oh, they're not South Sudanese, but they are because their complexion is different. You know, so it's like we come in different shades and colors. So it's like if you think about it, it's like the lighter you are, the more privilege you might have compared to someone who's more darker, and like it kind of affects everyone to a certain degree. Like you might not see it, but like there's certain privileges that your own sister might have compared to your own, you know, your other sister might have because they're darker.
I agree, but I think like that's why things like skin bleaching are so rampant in our community, because people feel like maybe like bleaching their skin will affirm their beauty or affirm their privileges, and they'll experience life differently. And like even beyond that, like the whole name of Sudan in Arabic means the land of the blacks. So the name has been given to our country as the land of black people.
I did not know that.
So it's like,
How you supposed to be even know
I didn't know that. Respectfully, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Don't let, you knew that, nigga?
I knew that.
No, you did it, nigga. Don't lie. You did not know that.
I knew that, man.
Niggas don't take my... But car feeling come on, man. That's crazy.
So I guess can I just ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
So I guess a big question I have is where the socioeconomic comes in terms of like skin color, right? Like, so I don't know, you're from Kenya, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how does that impact? Is it like, are the lighter people more economically, privileged in Kenya or Sudan, or is like how where does distinction come from? Where like economics and race are like.
In Kenya, we don't have the colorism as much. We more have tribalism. Yeah, so the colorism really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And that's even, I was wondering when you were speaking about colorism, I was like, I've never seen like a light-skinned Sudanese. Do you guys?
You haven't been in the north, boy.
Well, in a sense, for example, my mom, she's considered more on the lighter end, right? My mom is really light.
Yeah.
In a sense, she comes from a part of South Sudan called Western Equatoria, right? Mm-hmm. So in a sense, there's some parts where like they have like a Greek descent in them, like where back then, like when the slave trades and everything was happening, like usually there's some of them that are a little bit lighter. So for example, my mom, she kind of in a sense, she suffers with like, when people see her, they're like, oh, she's not South Sudanese. Usually they're like, oh, is she from Rwanda? Is she from Kenya? Or even Somalia. So like in a sense, it's like there's still that colorism effect where in a sense she still has to kind of like play that battle, like to fight, like, oh yeah, I'm South Sudanese still, even though she looks different compared to like, when you think of a South Sudanese, you think dark, like
dark,
tall.
That's like
He in a sense, I'm not dark. Well, I'm dark, but I'm not tall. Like I'm not like typical South Sudanese.
Yeah, we didn't get
So
that.
like for example, my mom, she's tall, but she doesn't have that like dark complexion. She's really light. So then when she tells like, yeah, I'm South Sudanese, they're like, are you sure you're South Sudanese? Or are you just like, lying?
You're capping,
Yeah.
The funny thing about that shit was, so do you guys get along with North Sudanese? Because I keep hearing South so much.
I feel like to a certain degree we do get along, but I feel like there is some like underlying tension in between. But we do try to like forget about it, and it's just like, oh, we're brothers and sisters at the end of the day. But yet again, it's still like you can't typically forget about the history that comes with like trying to be like
how they treated us.
How they treated us and how like things kind of impacted us and how it came about, like how South Sudan even came about to even look at them as like, oh, this is our brothers and sisters, but how could our brothers and sisters do us like that we have to divide in a sense.
Just to follow up on what she said, but like you understand, like we was in war for a long time, the North and the South, like we was really battling for a long time. So like, it's kind of hard to kind of get in the same place from where we started at the end of the day. But it's just so difficult to be like, hey, that's my brother or that's my sister, because like we've been battling for so long because we wanted to get what we want at the end of the day, right?
Right.
So it's, you feel me? It's really, really difficult to look at them and be like, hey, like that's our brothers or that's our sisters.
Yeah.
You understand? Like you in the North, you're really fair-skinned, right? But we in the South, you dark-skinned at the end of the day. And like she said, like light-skinned is really looked upon like, hey, like you feel me? Like you're more like up
on
there
top.
than dark-skinned at the end of the day. But that's changing though.
I agree with you. I think people forget how recent like that oppression was. Like South Sudan only got its independence in 2011. Like
We're still young.
We are older than our country's age is.
Like
currently.
we just opened our national soccer stadium literally like what was like 2 months ago.
True.
We're just not getting recognition. Imagine our basketball team models like
Basketball team's already number one.
Exactly.
We're trying to make South Sudan put a name on there,
Yeah, big South Sudan anyway. We shouldn't be the USA. We shouldn't be the USA, but you're right. At least we made it. I digress. We still made it though.
So do you think there's a hope you guys can come as one? Forget the South and the North.
In terms of
Just
North
become as
and
one.
South?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you don't know or not. Hold on. I don't know if you don't know.
For the new generation, I would say new generation.
So
Yeah, Gen Z.
But there's a war in the North right now. So a lot of people in the North are coming to the South.
Before South Sudan even got independence from North Sudan, just from Sudan, period, there was already discrepancies within culture and within different things as well. So like South Sudanese people have always been very different than, our parents identified as South Sudanese before the country even received its autonomy, its independence.
Right.
So like, we have
Exactly.
We culturally have different things that are different from some Sudanese culture. And it's beyond just like the general categorization of being Sudanese or being South Sudanese, but like your own tribal practices and your own tribal identification as well. And I feel like it would be very unproductive to maybe try to force one Sudan again because there's so many differences already. Like I think we should just have more focus more on like unity within like I guess all Sudanese culture, but
Most
like also
important part,
appreciating
yeah.
like differences between South Sudanese and like technically North Sudanese people.
So quick question. Quick question. 'Cause, like I mentioned earlier, in my country we don't have colorism, right? We have tribalism. So like you say, you guys are divided. You have, of course, the North and the South, but still at the same time you have tribalism, right? Different tribes, right?
Yeah.
Is that an issue?
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Of course.
For sure.
Like in order for you to get certain jobs in the government, like there's like no shade, no tea, but Dinka and Nuer people are prioritized in a lot of like the government positions in South Sudan.
Yeah.
So even like when I came back from Juba this summer, it's like anyone that is like if you know someone that's Dinka or Nuer, they're mostly like in a power position, honestly. And then like, it comes from like the whole socioeconomic differences between people that are Equatorian and non-Equatorian people. That's where the issue stems from.
Okay.
Because like I remember my mom telling me historically that Equatorian people had like a little bit more wealth than like non-Equatorian people. So there was like differences in like in their lifestyle and their position. So it became there's a lot of animosity that was formed between like non-Equatorians and Equatorian people. So that's why we deal with a lot of like oppression and a lot of like just like genocide and things like that like are happening in Equatoria from Dinka people and Nuer people. But obviously we're not generalizing all Dinka and Nuer people. A lot of them are actually really good people.
Yeah. Right.
But it's more a systematic issue in South Sudan. Like our president has been president since 2011. It's 2024. What's going on? Right? It's been 13 years.
Hey, the Gen Zs. What do
When
you
you
know
go
about that?
back home,
That's the issue.
you see it. It's actually when we talk about it. When you go back home, you actually like experience it. Like you're like, this is like a culture shock because you just sit here and hear about it, but like you go back home and you sit here and you see it happen to you right in front of you. You can't do nothing about it because we don't here we grew up in America, so what's the culture? Back home it's very conservative.
Even their prison system in Juba, it's like they're very. It's like a lot of Dinka people that work there and a lot of Nuer people as well. Mostly Dinka people. And I feel like it's easier for you to get away with things if you know those people that are working there and you have
You
connection.
have to know somebody, have
versus
connection
if
to
you're
be able to
someone-
survive back home.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it. If you don't know nobody, don't have no money, anything, you're
It's corruption still.
You're
So-
cooked.
Yeah.
Just to follow up on that, do you think it's the power in numbers? Because I feel like it's Dinka and
Well,
Nuer.
they're
They have the
so-
largest
so-
numbers.
so-
So you think like it would be different if you feel me? Other cultures had the power in numbers. I
But
would say.
even then, like Zande is the third largest tribe, like our tribe, right? Third largest tribe.
But
in
you gotta
South
think
Sudan.
but
we don't have-
Hold on. But we're not really originated from South Sudan. We really came from Congo. We made our way from Congo to South Sudan. So a lot of
on the
them look
border
at
and
us
shit.
like hey like are we real like South Sudanese at the end of the day?
No, well, I feel like in a sense, if you think about it, like, what really makes a South Sudanese? Like, if
Yeah,
you
what's
think
the
about it,
foundation of it?
when someone thinks of a South Sudanese, I'm not gonna lie, they think tall, dark. When you think of South Sudan, there's 64 tribes, and we all look ethnically so different. Like,
But the power in numbers though, in numbers. Dinka has the most numbers. Nuer has the second most numbers. And Zande is just like, oh y'all third place. It's not really that important at the end of the day.
So that Dinka is in the South or North?
the North.
The North.
South.
South.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
pass it out.
They're in the South.
All right, so I'm gonna say something real quick, right? So I came here in 1999, right? I was 8 years old. So this is before South Sudan seceded, right? Sudan was one at the time,
It was
right?
one at a time.
So we went to Egypt, right? A lot of people in Sudan at the point, right? Like you go to Egypt, and then as a refugee, you're either going to Australia, or UK, US, or whatever, right? So the whole idea of tribalism at the point, for me, right? I'm always speaking for myself, right? That wasn't a thing until after this cessation, right? Because when we were in New Hampshire, whether you were Dinka, Nuer, Arab, whatever, you're still Sudanese, right? Or black, right? And so as a person speaking who grew up in the U.S., in the diaspora, right? The whole idea of tribalism and whatever else, it wasn't really a thing, right?
I kind of beg to differ. I disagree.
From where? Okay,
Yeah, no, I
so
understand.
it wasn't a thing from where we grew up in the
I-
northeast
I'll
of New
say it.
Hampshire.
Because
It
our
happened
generation-
after the
Think about
cessation.
it, like-
Go ahead.
The generation, I feel like.
Our generation was there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say the generation plays a very big role in that. I feel
But
like
I think
It
it
does.
exacerbated after the fact, though, right? Like, because even my sister, right, who was born in the U.S., Like her idea of Denka, I'm Denka, right? And where, right? That wasn't a thing, but that became a thing to her, right? Like here. Yeah. Now here, like you have that. Prior to that, you were just Sudanese. You know what I'm saying? True. So I don't know, man. You guys were born here, so you guys tell me.
I feel like from.
Go ahead.
Operating from a what?
Yeah, you go ahead. You can go ahead. You can talk.
Frank, can you pass the bottle?
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Sorry.
Where's the shot?
If I think about the whole tribalism aspect, right? And it says, okay, I grew up in I grew up here, right?
In North Carolina. You were born here?
I was born here. I grew up in North Carolina. Yeah. And, like, obviously, we had a pretty, decent amount, like, size amount of South Sudanese here. But in a sense, when I think about...
you were born here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, when I see tribalism, I feel like for me personally, tribalism has always been here, like, in a sense. In a sense, maybe...
In North Carolina?
Yeah. In North Carolina.
Tribalism here?
Yes.
Okay.
Like,
in what sense?
No.
Wow.
Wait, when were you guys born?
We can't disclose that.
But again, so it might be a difference of age, right? Because like
everybody.
But it was never even prior to like North and South splitting, I feel like tribalism has still been very like
prevalent.
Yes. Okay, I don't even think, but I think we lead in our parents as well too. Okay, but it's not a recent development because ethnic cleansing has been prominent since like
even the 1980s,
like 80s, 50s.
It has nothing to do with being in.
Okay, but we're talking about like how. You think about it, our parents kind of like transferred over whatever beliefs and values they had when they were in South Sudan over to the U.S., right? They're the ones that founded our community and found like the beliefs and values they have, like all of our parents and like our elders, right? So I think like a lot of, speaking from my personal experience, a lot of like the elders in my community that are Equatorian have experienced like ethnic cleansing uphand. They've had like soldiers come into their homes and see people like killed like their family members or harm people, rape people. Especially like my dad. My dad's seen his mom get killed.
So here's my question, right? I guess here's my question.
So I think for them it's internalized from seeing it and experiencing it.
Okay, so they came here, right? And this is again, this is the question, right? So you guys came here. Your parents have seen that.
Yeah.
You guys came to the U.S. You guys were born here. And then what happened? Then they saw other Sudanese people who were. From a different culture?
I think it just comes down to like prioritizing being in a unified culture, despite your differences. Like prioritizing the fact that we're all South Sudanese. So
are they prioritizing the fact that you now we're no longer taking what happened back home, and you guys are now one, or you guys are still?
No, we're still separated.
Okay, for example, specifically talking about North Carolina in this example, like when you think about the South Sudanese community, I'm not gonna lie, you have your Equatorians here, you have your Dinkas here, you have your Nuers here. If we're even talking about Nubas, we have your Nubas there.
You have the North Sudanese over there.
That's what I'm saying.
So this North Carolina.
But even if you even go to other aspects in the states, I feel like you still feel that aspect. For example, right now there's a Equatorian conference happening this weekend, right, in Kansas City, right? Only Equatorians that are only, this is their conference for them only.
Equatorians all around.
Oh, wow.
And then even then, only Equatorians. And then even in May, like even in May, for example, I'm Fujulu, right? This is my tribe, right? There's a Fujulu conference, there's a Kuku conference, there's a Bari conference.
In America?
Yes.
For each
It's different type of conferences.
So I guess this is where I'm coming to this. All right. Do you guys feel like it's fucked up? Okay, for a second, right? That we're leaving whatever's happening
back
right?
home,
and we're coming here. Whatever you come from, whatever tribe you're from, whatever you are, right? You're in this country now, right? And you guys were born here. You guys weren't even there, and then you're still having these sentiments about what happened in the back home, right? And bringing it to another country.
But I feel like in a sense this has nothing to do with us. I understand this from the parents, but I get your point and agree. I fully agree, like understand what you're coming from, but I feel like in a sense it's kind of been passed down to us. I feel like in a sense for us, like I feel like for me personally, recently it wasn't until recently, like okay, we're all South Sudanese. Like in a sense, I can't really always dictate like, oh, I have to look at somebody's tribe like, oh, he's from Balanda, oh, he's from Kuku, oh, he's from Fujulu or whatever. For me, it's now like, okay, I'm thinking now, oh, we're South Sudanese people. But for a long time, like when I would see a Dinka people, I'm already having that like preconception, like, oh, this Dinka person is thinking like this. Oh, this Nuer people is thinking like that. Because in a sense, it's always been passed down. Like specifically in my household, like I've always looked at like, oh, Dinka people.
And I blame our parents.
And I blame our parents.
But luckily, our parents for that.
But luckily, we're in a country now that we feel like we can understand and think for ourselves. Like we can like
have our own mind.
under that perception that like there's generational.
But you
Hold on.
I actually have a question though, real quick.
Okay.
Do you think that also like a problem that plays into it is representation of South Sudanese people? When you see models, when you see basketball players, a lot of them tend to be Tinker and Aware people. Like I feel like it comes down to being like me seeing myself being represented as well as South Sudanese, and I feel like that's like where some of the differences come into it.
Yeah, let him say something because he's from the north. Yeah.
He's from the south. He's from the south.
You're from Wow, right? You're from Wow, right?
Oh yeah,
No, he's from Wow, right?
I'm from Greece.
From Greece.
Oh, you one of them. It's good.
She said you one of them.
So why, John?
No. But honestly, I'm from Khartoum. You know what I mean? Like, honestly.
So Khartoum is the north, right?
Yeah, it's in the north.
North, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's on the north, but like this tribalism thing, like I don't really like believe in like to be a thing like that. I mean, I see it, but like
You see it in New Hampshire? I don't see it in New Hampshire at all.
I mean, New Hampshire,
to a certain extent, because
Can I ask a question?
Dinkas outnumber in New
there a
Hampshire, so
lot
it's
of
one of them things.
South Sudanese people in New Hampshire?
Of course.
I don't think I see it as much in New Hampshire.
There's a good amount
not like that. Not
of
like
South
that.
Sudanese, but I've never,
New
honestly,
Hampshire's small.
I came to New Hampshire in 1999, right? There was 3 other Sudanese family, right? There was, and they weren't Denka.
So 3 plus you, so it's 4.
There was, including me.
Including you. Okay, it's 3.
It was Gabriel and who was your people. What are they?
I wasn't
Belinda?
there. I was in Virginia.
Okay, but they're like Belinda, right? So anyway, they weren't Denka.
Okay.
Long story short, when I got there wasn't like this idea of like Denka and where whatever, right? And even as more Sudanese people came in, we were like a community, and there was a lot of Denka people. There was, but there was no like any sort of tension.
Yeah.
It was just more of like this like community like
Sudanese, that's it.
nonsensical type of thing. It wasn't like Nuer or you're Belinda or you're North Sudanese or whatever, right? You kind of like you know you're Sudanese, so like you know you have conversations whatever, but they're fragmented to a point where it's like more like the gossip between like aunties and you know people and stuff
Our
like
parents.
that.
It was the
The
same.
elders. I feel like that's what a lot, the elders
It was the
play a
same
big
thing. It
role.
was the same thing when I moved to Virginia too. It was all
Just aunties talking. But
Yeah.
we're still,
Sudanese, boom,
we're still
boom,
the same
that's
people.
it.
If somebody passed away or if somebody got married or whatever,
You're
right?
gonna show up for the community.
Everyone
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
shows
Everybody's
up,
there.
right?
I agree.
I didn't even like the whole tribalism thing didn't even come to my head until like 2011 when like the cessation
I really think
happened.
it's just passed down from our elders, our parents to us, and then now it's like
It's a whole big deal.
it's like
Yeah.
recycle. It's a cycle going back and forth, and hopefully it
'Cause,
stops.
like, For me personally, I feel like growing up in North Carolina, I feel like even prior to 2011, I kind of still felt that sense of like tribalism, in that sense. Because I feel like in North Carolina specifically, like we've always like growing up. I remember always going to Equatorian conference, not an Equatorian, but like an Equatorian cookout, and then you have a general South Sudanese cookout where it's like all the tribes, or then you might go to there's a Dinka, cookout. Oh, we're going to the Dinkas. They're, And I feel like in North Carolina, we came in big numbers in a sense. So I feel like everyone kind of gravitated to their own. It's like the Dinkas gravitated to their own, the Equatorians gravitated to their own. So then in a sense, there was like that separation. So like always growing up, there was like, I remember going to like multiple different types of like, even though we're all South Sudanese, but there's still, we're going to, the Equatorian cookout. Oh no, we're going to the Dinka cookout. Oh no, we're going to the Nuba
But then you
cookout.
can be all friends together.
You would still all be friends. Like I'm still best friends. Everyone is cool.
Yeah.
I'm even going to everyone. I'm saying hi auntie, hi uncle. But at the end of the day, that's the Dinka auntie. That's the food auntie, or this is the auntie. So like for me specifically, like in North Carolina, it's always kind of been like that diversion. Diversion.
Okay. So every time there's an event, they have to specify what tribe it is.
To a certain degree, yeah. But like sometimes you will have that instance where like everyone comes together, but like specifically like I'm more so gonna gravitate the Equatorian cookout, or I'm gonna gravitate towards the Dinka cookout.
Just to follow up that, just to follow up that, do you think we were more united as like one country, as South Sudan, then we got divided?
I don't know. I feel like yes and no.
I feel like yes.
Yes,
I think
and
yes,
no.
because
I think yes, because
I
think
saw
about
South Sudan that more.
before we
Speaking of resources-
separated.
But I think before we separated, we more so unified because we were the oppressed.
Yeah.
Like, for example, all the Dinkas, the Equatorians, we all united. Oh, we're South Sudanese because we're oppressed. Mm-hmm. But now that we divided, it's like, oh, now the Dinkas and the Nuers, they're now in power. It's like, okay, now the Equatorians and like the people who are in WOW, the Baragazal, and all the people, they're now like, oh, we're separated. Oh, because we're not the ones in the power.
But these are all systematic issues too, because if you didn't think about like the national government. So
you're from Kenya, right?
Yes, sir.
Quick question. So.
You changed the subject from everybody.
No. I'm not going away, right? Because you guys were born here, right? You guys were born here.
You're running away from everybody, man.
No, because listen.
Hold on. Pass the drink to everybody, man. We all drinking, man.
I have a little bit of water.
This is the Chafuwa Meza show. We all drinking, my nigga. Not just you. Everybody.
So
you know how you Kenyans sit down. Yeah. You know how you Kenyans sit down.
Of course, and you got the Kenyan flag on your hand too.
No. South Sudan.
I mean, I know, but you got the same flag. I'm the same colors though.
No. We're Pacific. South Sudan.
I know. No. The middle part is the difference. You see?
Here.
The colors are the
We did
same.
copy their flag.
Was she born here?
No, you don't have the flag.
I had a question.
A certain extent.
So I asked.
What's up? Who wanted to take a shot?
Alright, ask the question.
I asked her.
What's the question?
Listen, when people ask you, when people go up to her and ask her, where are you from?
I always say South Sudan.
You know what she said?
Oh, me? When they ask me?
Okay, but listen, my sister's, she was born here.
She was born here. Yeah.
No, that's not my sister. But I'm saying my sister was born here.
My bad. Yeah, got you.
And when people ask her where she's from or where she's born, ask her where she's from. She says New Hampshire. So I guess my question is when people ask like Kenyans or like because like they come off to you like maybe disrespectful like where you from, right? So my sister literally says New Hampshire. Manchester, New Hampshire.
I think bottom line it comes to this. Most of the time is when they hear an accent, that's when they ask where you from.
Okay.
In most cases.
No, but my sister's dark.
For an example,
She's born here, but she's dark.
I get that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not refusing, but I'm saying in most cases. Because even in America, they have dark-skinned niggas. It's not like there's no dark-skinned Americans.
Why are you blocking off that word or are you saying it for real?
What?
Wait, are we gonna speak freely?
like
Yeah, you can say that shit. But I'm saying, So when they hear the accent, that's when they mostly ask where you from. Mostly, I'm not saying I don't.
They look at me and they're like, "Where are you from?" But they know I'm not like American. They can tell from like just even looking at me. I'm just South Sudanese, or like I'm just not.
They would never guess.
They would never guess South Sudan.
They won't say South Sudan. They say African, whatever.
Yeah, they're like, yo, you African.
They're gonna say Nigeria, Ghana,
Congo.
But you do look like a black American. Yes, you do.
No, the black Americans, they can literally differentiate me and be like, you're not one.
Not all.
Yeah, they call me Caribbean. Growing up,
they're gonna say, oh, you're an ethnic person.
You're one of those African kids. Like they can differentiate.
They can literally look at you.
Or North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
No, even anywhere outside of like
anywhere.
North
People
Carolina,
always knew that I was
they're gonna look at you. They're not gonna. Their first aspect is not gonna be like.
I never had that
Unless
issue.
you're like light.
Never.
Even then, I feel like still there's even a sense of
It's
the way you
a-
carry yourself. The way you carry yourself, there's a distinction between both of us.
So can I say this, right? Say you're born here, right? Say you're born here, and they come up to you, right, thinking like, oh, you have this like distinct look. You're not American, but you were born here. Do you look at it as like disrespect? Do you be like, well, fuck you, I was born in North America, I was born here. Like, no, but you know because they know they come off like.
No, that's a compliment to me.
For me, honestly, it's a compliment because I feel like personally, even though I was born here, I don't feel like I fully resonate with being an American.
So you feel African?
Because of your features.
Not even because of my features.
No, hell no.
Where you drink at, my nigga? I'll fuck with you.
I really think it's the culture.
It's how you grow up. The household.
Yeah, you was brought up. You come to our house. What we doing?
Exactly.
We're starting.
My parents speak out of it. But making mulake mood, I see that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Even when visitors come, you're there going greeting everyone like this. Like it's normal.
Yes.
So I love that. Right? So okay, I love that. So I got a question, right? This is kind of
Man, I fuck with
this is
you
a
on that.
political thing, right?
But you're not drinking though. You don't drink?
Like shout out
So
to
you
I'm chilling right now.
guys get mad. You guys get mad at American people
Cool, man.
who say that like, oh well, you're not.
Salute to you over there. Just a girl.
I'm just a girl.
So what?
Do you guys get upset at like people who are like politically like, oh, well, you're not representing America then if you want to like represent your culture. So say someone who was born in Sudan who's not from Sudan, right? Like a Khawaja. Because we know we talk shit about Khawajas all the time, right?
Right.
Okay, so say a Khawaja was born in Sudan. And then she says, no, I'm not Sudanese.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
No,
You're not
Wait, one at a time.
That's different though, because
how is that? That's not different.
Hear about it though.
That's a crazy.
Now we're talking about imperialism and colonialism. Being a white person, you have the ability to identify with any single culture you want to identify with.
So say it again. Say it again.
Okay, I think if you're a white person, you have the ability to identify with any other culture you want because you are the desired race. You're a desired like.
But okay. So talk about that person.
Not even like black
talk
people.
Talk about the person.
Also, like African Americans here have a hard time like being seen as true Americans. Like Hispanic Americans, anyone. No.
Yeah. Okay, so being a black American and being born in Sudan, and they say that.
So it's like
say they're not from South Sudan.
Yeah.
I feel like that's personally fine because I feel like if you don't resonate typically with the culture, it's hard for you to say like, oh, I'm part of that.
Exactly.
Like it's one thing to say, for example, all of us
personally. So you can't call that. So then you can't attack that person for not correlating with that, right?
That's
because people are gonna attack you for not saying that you're. Say you were born here, you never been to South Sudan, and you're like, listen, I'm from North Carolina, but people are gonna attack you because you're like, oh, you're kind of negating your culture, right? Like who your parents are from, but you've never been there. So then how can you, how can you represent that? You've never been there. Or your parents are like your friends are from North Carolina. You don't have any other Sudanese friend. How many Sudanese people are here who grew up in Sudan that you're friends with?
Like the individual,
yeah,
like individual experiences. Like if you identify more with like the culture that you grew up with and like you resonate with that, then that's your personal experience. That's your truth.
Absolutely.
Versus someone that is not like has not been raised in that. Like some Sudanese people are not raised with the language, with the food, in an actual Sudanese community, so they don't have access to those things that are like identity markers.
Right.
So it just depends.
So you can't prejudge that person for saying that they're not from that place.
Of course, but I think I
right? No, but I don't know. So
I feel like in this. Okay, for example, me personally, I have an older brother. He's Khawaja and South Sudanese, right? He's grown up more with his Khawaja side, so he doesn't typically resonate with the South Sudanese side. In a sense, it's like for me, I can't fully judge him for saying like, oh, he doesn't typically know his South Sudanese side. So in a sense, for me, who's been growing up in the South Sudanese like culture, is like that's what I resonate with him. In a sense, he resonates with Khawaja culture. Like I can't be upset at that. Like. It's kind of like it comes to an individual like experience. Like I don't think it's someone you could be like, oh, like let me be upset at someone for not being a part of that culture.
The more the merrier.
What's the problem? Come on, man. Yeah, I know. But no, absolutely. So like my sister, again, like I respect her for being like no.
That's her personal I'm sure that
she'll say that too, but like, but I think people come out of it as like it's like a disrespect type of thing.
Yeah. For me, it just really comes to an individual experience. Like me personally, at the end of the day, even though I was born here, my whole life I've been here, and then I'm South Sudanese, I'm a Sudanese. Like South Sudan went till we die. Till we die. Like that's all I know.
Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza. Tuko Nairobi tuna Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza. Tuko in the city, Chafuwa Meza. Don Kings in the building. Don Kings in the building. Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza. Tuko Nairobi tuna Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza, Chafuwa Meza. Tuko in the city, Chafuwa Meza. Don Kings in the building. Don Kings in the building. Straight from the flight to the club we go. Hold on, I'm lying. Straight from the flight, hit the Airbnb. Chafuwa Meza, I see you, Lemmy G. Kanairo City took a home, my G. All Kings in the building. Tuko ready, rada chafu no way. Tuku gagani watoto my way. Fresh to death, man you got the smell.